Hello students, today's topic of my lecture is group action. First of all, we are going to define what is group action. Basically, the group action is a mapping which associate elements of group G with some a non-empty set A. So let us define, let G be a group and A be a non-empty set. Then G is said to be act on G if there exists a function which is denoted by star which associate G cross A to A. That is, it is a mapping from G cross A to A which satisfies these following properties, that G1 star G2 star A is equal to G1 G2 star A, and E star A is equal to A, where G1 G2 are elements of G and E is identity element of G, and small a be any arbitrary element of A. This mapping is called group action of G on A, and A is called G set. Okay. One more definition of group action we can define. If G be a group and S be a set of objects, then we say G acts on S if there exists a homomorphism mapping phi from G to the symmetric group S. You know the symmetric group, a group of all permutations on S. So the homomorphism, sometimes called group action, if we denote image of any G, small g belonging to capital G by phi G, then x, y belongs to S are viewed as equivalent under the action of G. That is, phi Gx is equal to y. Then this type of thing is called G acts on S. So we are going to discuss some of the examples of group action. So let us consider, let G be a group and A be a non-empty set. Then we defined a mapping star from G cross A to A, which is given by G star A is equal to A, where small g belongs to capital G and A is arbitrary element of capital A. Then this forms a group action. For group action, we know that any mapping which satisfies these two properties is called a group action. So we are going to see the first property, let G1 and G2 be any two arbitrary element of capital G. Then we apply G1 star G2 star A. By definition, G star A is equal to A. So G1 star G2 star A will be equal to G1, and this will be equal to A because we have G star A is equal to A. So this G1 star A will be A by same definition of the mapping. So we get G1 star G2 star A is equal to A for all G1 G2 belonging to G. For all G1 G2 belonging to G. Now we see E with the identity element. So E star A is equal to A for all A belonging to G and E belonging to G with the identity element. Then star is called group action. Star is called group action. Hence G act on A and A is a G set. This is the first example. This action is called trivial G action. This action is called, where G star A is equal to A is called trivial group action. One more example, we can take that element A be a non-empty set, and that set can be equal to G. So if we take A is equal to G, then we have defined a mapping star from G cross G to G, which is given by G star A is equal to G star A is equal to G star A is equal to GA. So we consider another example in which we take A is equal to G. So this implies, here the definition of mapping is G star A is equal to GA. Then it is a group action. G is a group action over A. So for that, let us consider G1, G2 be two elements of G. G1 star G2 star A will be equal to G1 star, and by definition, G2 star A is equal to G2A. And now when we operate this over G1, then this will be equal to G1 G2A. And all these elements are elements of G. So by associativity, this will be equal to G1 G2A, and this will be G1 G2 star A. The first property is satisfied. Similarly, we can see if E be the identity element of G, then A is equal to G implies E star A is equal to EA is equal to A for all A small a belonging to capital A. So the two properties of group action are satisfied by this mapping. So G acts over G itself, and this is a group action. Now one more example. If G be any group and A is equal to G, then we can define a mapping which is G star A to A such that G star A is equal to G A G inverse for all G belonging to capital G, A belonging to capital A. Then star is a group action and is called group action by conjugation. You can easily show that it is a group action. For group action, you have to prove these two properties. So you can easily do it for these mapping, which is defined by G star A is equal to G A G inverse. One more example, which says that let G be a group and H be a normal subgroup of G. Then let A is equal to G by H, which is quotient group, which is generated by H, the set of all coset of H in G. And we defined a mapping star G cross A to G by G star AH. AH is the element of G by H. AH is equal to G A G inverse into H for all G belonging to capital G and AH belonging to G by H. It is also a group action. So for that we have to show the two properties. So we consider G1 star G2 star AH. So by the definition of this mapping, this G2 star AH will be equal to G2A G2 inverse H by this definition. And when this can be taken as an element of G, and when we operate this element over G1, we get G1 bracket this element G1 inverse into H. So this can be easily done, and after using associativity you can say this, and by using reversal law we have really easily G1 G2A G1 G2 inverse H. So this is what this is G1 G2 star A. This is what G1 G2 star AH. So G1 G2 star AH. So first property is satisfied. Let E be an identity element of G, and when we operate this E over AH, this will be equal to E inverse H, and this will be equal to AH. So this means E act as an identity. So that implies this mapping is a group action. So we have discussed what the group action is, and we discussed 3 or 4 examples on group actions. So now we are moving and we will define what do you mean by kernel of action. You know, since this is a mapping, and also I have defined one more definition where we take A as the symmetric group of permutations, and in that the mapping star can be taken as homomorphism, and we have already defined the kernel of homomorphism. Now we have to define the kernel of action. So let G be a group and A be a non-empty set, and let star be a mapping from G cross A to A, be a group action. Then kernel of star is denoted and defined by kernel of star is defined by kernel star is equal to those elements G of capital G such that G star A is equal to A for all A belonging to capital A. That is, those elements of G which are mapped with all elements of A. So this is defined as the kernel of action. Now the first theorem, in case of kernel of homomorphism, we have already proved that the kernel set is a normal subgroup. So now we are going to prove here the kernel of this group action is a subgroup of G. To show kernel star is a subgroup of G, we have kernel star is not empty, since at least E belongs to kernel star, as E star A is equal to A. So this implies this set is non-empty. Now let us consider X and Y be two arbitrary elements of this kernel. So by the definition of kernel, X star A will be A and Y star A will be A for all A belonging to G. Now let us consider X, Y star A, and you can say let it be X star Y star A, and y star A will be A. So this will be equal to x star A by the definition of kernel, and x star A is equal to A. So xy star A is A. So when we operate xy over A, we get A. So this implies xy will be in kernel. So this implies kernel is closed. Since we have taken x and y as any two elements of kernel, and we have proved that the product xy will also be in kernel, so kernel is closed. Now we, under respect to multiplication, now we have to show the existence of inverse. So let x be any arbitrary element of G, and x inverse belongs to G, since by definition of inverse, and such that x inverse x is equal to E is equal to x inverse. So now we consider E star A. Since E is equal to x inverse x, so this implies this will be equal to x inverse x star A, and this will be equal to x inverse x star A is equal to A. This inverse x inverse star A is equal to A, and this implies x inverse belongs to kernel. So for each element of G, the inverse of that element belongs in the kernel. So we have easily kernel is a subgroup of G. So now we are going to take one more theorem which will explain the first definition of group action, which is written in this notes. So let us consider this theorem. Let G be a group and A be any non-empty set, then any homomorphism from G to symmetry A. Symmetry is what? The set of all permutations which are defined over the set A. The symmetric group of A defines an action of G on A. Conversely, every action of G on A induces a homomorphism from G to symmetric A. That means what? If we have a group action of G on a subset A, then that implies there will exist a homomorphism mapping from G to the symmetric A. Symmetric A means the group of all permutation which is defined over the set A. So now we are going to prove this theorem. So for that, let us define phi be a mapping which is from G to symmetry A. Be any homomorphism mapping for any small g. So this implies for any small g belonging to capital G. The definition of the mapping is phi G is equal to sigma G. Where sigma G is what? Sigma G is a permutation. Sigma G is a permutation, and you know the permutation is a 1-1 onto mapping of a finite set over itself. So this implies this sigma G is 1-1 onto mapping from A to A. That is a permutation only. Since phi is homomorphism, so it preserves composition. So let G1 and G2 be two elements of G. Then phi G1 G2 is equal to phi G1 into phi G2 for all G1 G2 belonging to G. So this implies sigma G1 G2 is equal to phi G1 G2 is equal to sigma G1 into sigma G2. So this implies we have this property. Now we defined a mapping star from G cross A to A, which is given by G star A is equal to sigma GA for all G belonging to capital G and A belonging to capital A. Now we have to show this mapping is a group action. So for this we have to prove the two properties for group action, and for that let us consider G1 and G2 be any two arbitrary elements of G, and A be any arbitrary element of A. And we consider G1 star G2 star A, and by the definition of mapping this will be equal to G1 star sigma G2A, and this will be equal to sigma G1 into sigma G2A by the definition of star mapping. So this will be equal to sigma G1 into sigma G2 into A, and this is the property of permutation, that sigma G1 into sigma G2 will be equal to sigma G1 G2A, and this will be equal to G1 G2 star A. The first property is already proved. Now we have to see the second, E star A, and this E star A will be sigma EA, and this equal to A. The sigma star A is equal to A, as sigma E is equal to 1. So the two definitions of two axioms of group actions are satisfied by this mapping, which is defined from G cross A to A, where A is symmetric group, which is defined over A. So this implies a star is a group action. So we have proved the first part of the theorem, which says that if G be a group and A be non-empty set, then any homomorphism from G to symmetric A, the symmetric group of A defines an action on G of G on A. So we have proved that this defines an action of G. Now we have to prove the converse part, and the converse part is what? That every action of G on A induced a homomorphism from G to symmetric A. In the previous theorem, we have assumed that there will be a homomorphism mapping from G to symmetric A, and then we have shown that there will be a group action between G and A, G acts on A. And here we have to conversely, first of all, we have to assume that every action of G on A, we have induced a homomorphism mapping from G to symmetric A. So first we consider G acts on A, so there must exist a mapping from G cross A to A, G cross A to A, which satisfies the two property. So now we defined a mapping phi, which is from G to symmetric A, such that phi G is equal to sigma G, where sigma G is a permutation and G is any arbitrary element of capital G. So sigma G is A cross A to A mapping, which is sigma GA is equal to G star. We have defined this permutation. We know a mapping is a permutation from a set over itself, which is 1, 1 and 1, 2. So now first of all we are going to show this phi is well defined. So for that we show sigma G from A to A is a permutation on A. So for that we have to show sigma G is 1, 1 and on 2. So if we take X and Y be any two arbitrary elements of capital A, so now we assume that sigma Gx is equal to sigma Gy. So by the definition of sigma mapping, this will be equal to G star X is equal to G star Y. So now we operate G inverse by both sides and use the group action property. This will be equal to G star G inverse star G star X, G inverse star G star Y. This will be equal to G inverse G star X, G inverse G into star Y. G is an arbitrary element of G, capital G, and G inverse is the inverse of G. So G inverse into G will be equal to E. So this implies Ex is equal to E star Y. This implies X is equal to Y. So psi G is, sigma G is 1, 1. So now consider sigma G, G inverse Y is equal to G star G inverse Y. This will be equal to G inverse into Y. This will be E into Y. This will be equal to Y. So sigma G is onto. So what we have shown that sigma G is a 1, 1 map, 1, 1 and onto mapping from a finite set A over itself. So it is a permutation. So sigma G is a permutation on A, and set of all permutation we will be in the symmetric set of A. So that implies sigma G will be in symmetric A. Now we show phi is a homomorphism. So for that we consider phi G1 G2 is equal to sigma G1 G2 by the definition, and sigma G1 G2 A is equal to G1 G2 star A. So phi G1 G2 is equal to G1 G2 star A. So consider phi sigma G1 into sigma G2A. This will be equal to sigma G1 into sigma G2A. This will be equal to G2 star A, and this will be equal to G1 G2 star A. So by these 5 and 6 equation, we can easily see that phi G1 G2 is equal to sigma G1 into sigma G2, and this sigma G1 is equal to phi G1, this sigma G2 is equal to phi G2. So we have proved that sigma phi G1 G2 is equal to phi G1 into phi G2. This implies phi is a homomorphism. So that's the theorem. The converse part is also true. This is a very important theorem. So today we have discussed the definition of group action, some of the examples, the kernel of group action, and some of the theorems which are defined over group action. So I hope you understand. So hopefully we will meet next time. Okay, bye.